English out loud.
Imagine you look a colleague in the eye today and say, I would be most grateful if you could assist me.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
Right. I mean, you haven't just spoken perfect, grammatically correct English.
Sure, on paper.
Yeah, on paper it's flawless.
Yeah.
But you've also practically guaranteed that they will never want to speak to you ever again.
Oh, absolutely. It is a phenomenal way to build this massive, immediate wall of ice between you and another human being.
Totally.
Like I said, it's entirely accurate according to a textbook, but completely disastrous in practice.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because welcome to today's deep dive, where we are looking at a fascinating stack of linguistic and cultural research.
It's centered around something you do constantly.
Right, asking for help.
Yeah.
So we are skipping this standard grammar textbook today. Our mission with this deep dive into the source material is to explore the unwritten social scripts.
The conversational architecture, basically.
Exactly. The hidden psychological padding we all use to navigate favors without, completely blowing up our relationships.
Which is so important, especially if you're navigating conversations in a new language.
For sure. Whether you're an intermediate English learner trying to sound natural or just someone fascinated by social dynamics, there is a sweet spot of politeness.
There really is. And to understand the mechanics of how we ask for help, we have to look at the cultural environment we operate in first.
Right, the background.
Yeah. Because in American English, and honestly many Western cultures broadly, the ultimate conversational sin is imposing.
Okay, let's pause there and define that for everyone listening. Imposing.
Right. So to impose means to place a burden on someone or to ask for more than is socially comfortable.
Like crossing a boundary.
Exactly. We operate in a society where time and personal autonomy are treated as, premium currencies.
I like that. Premium currencies.
Yeah, so when you ask someone for a favor, you aren't just asking for their skills. You are asking for a withdrawal from their personal bank account of time.
You are literally asking them to pause their entire life to fix yours.
That is the core friction. That's why it's so terrifying.
So if you just walk up to someone and say, help me.
Which, again, perfectly constructed imperative sentence.
Nice. Grammar is fine.
But it lands like a physical blow.
It does. It feels like a command.
Because it is. It strips the other person of their autonomy and just demands their currency. It's incredibly aggressive.
It's like slamming your foot on the gas pedal. Just 0 to 60.
Great analogy, yeah.
But then, overcorrecting is honestly just as bad.
Oh, for sure.
Using that hyperformal phrase we talked about at the start. I would be most grateful if you could assist me.
It feels robotic.
It really does. It's like riding the brakes.
Yeah.
It's so stiff that it signals you don't view the other person as a peer or a friend.
Right. You view them as a transactional vending machine.
A vending machine, yes. So we're looking for that cruising speed.
Exactly. And the sources introduce a crucial concept to navigate that space between the two extremes. In linguistics, they call it the softener.
The softener? Okay, I love this term. What is it?
Well, if a direct demand is a blunt force object, a softener is basically conversational bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap, that's perfect.
Right. It is a word or a phrase that acts as a shock absorber.
It diffuses the impact.
Exactly. It diffuses the impact of the request, allowing you to ask for that premium currency, their time, without coming across as an absolute dictator.
Okay, let's map out how this padding actually works in the wild. Because, it scales based on the severity of what you're asking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sliding scale.
Like if I just need someone to pass me a pen across a conference table, I don't need to wrap that in 20 layers of conversational bubble wrap.
No, that would be weird.
A simple, could you pass the pen, does the job.
Yeah. Could you? It is the standard operating procedure for minor, everyday friction.
It's the baseline shock absorber.
Right, because could you acknowledges the other person actually has a choice.
Which preserves their autonomy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't overcomplicate the interaction with too many words.
But the architecture shifts the moment the stakes get higher, doesn't it?
It really does. Let's say you aren't asking for a pen.
Okay.
You are asking a coworker to take over a complicated project because you're falling behind.
Oh, yeah. Suddenly, could you take over this project? Sounds incredibly dismissive of the massive burden I'm trying to hand them.
It feels like you're trivializing their time.
Totally. So you reach for a heavier shock absorber.
Yes. You might escalate to something like, would you mind taking a look at this project?
Would you mind? That's a step up.
It is. The subtle shift here is psychological.
How so?
Well, Would you mind shifts the focus away from the task itself and directly addresses the other person's comfort level.
Ah, I see.
You are preemptively acknowledging that this might be a slight inconvenience.
Okay, but what if we push the stakes even further?
Like what?
Let's say I'm asking for something monumental, like asking a colleague to cover my weekend shift when I know they're already exhausted.
Oh, man. That requires maximum padding.
Maximum bubble wrap,
Yeah.
what do we use?
You deploy phrases like, do you think you could? Or, is there any chance you could?
Is there any chance you could? Wow, that is soft.
Notice the underlying mechanism there, too. By asking, is there any chance, you are framing the possibility of their help as this lucky, unlikely coincidence.
Rather than an expectation.
Exactly. You are giving them a wide open avenue to decline by questioning the circumstances rather than questioning their actual willingness to help you.
So you're almost predicting the no to make it easier for them to say it.
Pretty much.
That is wild. And there's another phrase from the research that fascinated me purely because of the grammar involved.
Which one?
I was wondering if you could.
Oh, yes. Highly common.
Native speakers use this constantly in emails and in speech. Like, I was wondering if you could review my draft.
The mechanics of that specific phrase are just brilliant.
Right, because it utilizes the past continuous tense, I was wondering.
Yeah, why put a current request into the past tense?
Because immediacy creates pressure.
Exactly. By framing the request as a continuous thought you were having in the past, you create this temporal distance.
It softens the demand into a gentle, passing reflection.
It's no longer an urgent directive. It's just, something you happen to be thinking about.
But this brings up a massive vulnerability in the whole system, I think.
Oh, how so?
Well, if we wrap our requests in this much bubble wrap, if we rely on past continuous tenses and phrases like, is there any chance you could possibly fat? Don't we risk confusing the other person?
Burying the actual favor, you mean?
Yeah. I've definitely been on the receiving end of a request that was so heavily padded with polite softeners that I genuinely didn't know what the person wanted me to do.
Oh, for sure. You can absolutely over-soften to the point of complete confusion.
Right.
And that happens when people mistakenly believe that the words are the only thing that matters.
Just piling on the polite phrases.
Exactly. But the vocabulary of a softener is only one half of the equation.
What's the other half?
The structural architecture of the conversation itself. Having the right shock absorbers is basically useless if you crash the car into a wall without warning.
Right. The architecture, the ask.
Yes. There is a deeply ingrained three-part structural pattern that native speakers expect when a favor is on the table.
Okay, let's break this formula down for the listeners.
It goes context, request, and an optional apology.
Context, request, apology.
And the order here is non-negotiable. Context has to come first.
Why is that so rigid?
Because if I walk up to your desk and just drop a softened request like, hey, would you mind helping me move this weekend?
Oh, my brain immediately perceives that as a threat.
Right. Even with the would you mind padding, it's an ambush.
The human brain just goes straight on the defensive when it's hit with an unexpected demand.
Exactly. So when you provide context first, you disarm that defense mechanism. You invite the person into your problem before you ask them to be the solution.
Wow, that changes the entire dynamic.
It does. It goes from an ambush to a narrative.
So instead I say, hey, my landlord just told me I have to be out of my apartment by Sunday, and my rental van fell through.
Perfect.
Right.
That is the context. You are laying out the stakes.
Showing the why.
Right. And then you drop the request. Is there any chance you could help me move a few boxes on Saturday morning?
Because the context justifies the interruption.
It demonstrates respect. It signals to the other person, I am not asking for your time lightly. I am asking because I have hit a genuine wall.
That makes so much sense. And then we have the third element of that architecture, the optional apology.
Right, these are the preemptive conversational flags.
Like, sorry to bother you, but...
Or, quick question if you have a sec.
Oh, I see. Quick question if you have a sec. Constantly.
Those phrases are incredibly efficient. They act as a linguistic warning siren.
A warning siren.
Yeah, when someone hears, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but they immediately know a request is imminent.
And they subconsciously prepare to evaluate a favor.
Exactly. We use this pattern constantly in the workplace.
Oh, totally. If I'm struggling with a spreadsheet, I don't just say, could you walk me through this?
Right, you'd add context.
I say, I am totally lost on how these Q3 projections are calculating. Could you walk me through it?
The context validates the request.
Wait, real quick, let's define that phrase for our learners. Walk me through it.
Oh, sure. To walk someone through something means to explain it step by step.
Right.
And that phrase is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, too.
How so?
Well, it implies a guided step-by-step process. It sets a clear boundary on what the favor actually entails.
You aren't asking them to do the work for you.
Exactly. You're asking them to act as a temporary guide. It makes the request feel smaller and much more manageable.
Okay, here is where the research gets incredibly layered.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
We have the softeners, and we have the architecture context plus request. But that formula is not static, is it?
No, not at all. The actual fillings of that formula shapeshift dramatically depending on who is standing in front of you.
The power dynamic.
Right. Sociolinguistics is entirely driven by relationship dynamics. The way you construct a request reveals exactly how you perceive your social standing relative to the other person.
So let's walk through the 4 distinct scenarios the sources map out.
Let's do it. Scenario 1, a coworker.
So, with a coworker, assuming you are on equal footing, the goal isn't deference, right? It's collaboration.
Precisely. You share a mutual environment and mutual goals. So the language shifts to reflect teamwork.
You don't grovel to a peer.
No. You use phrases like, I'm stuck on this report, I could really use a second pair of eyes.
A second pair of eyes. Let's define that too.
It just means another person's perspective or review.
Right. And that specific phrasing completely neutralizes the burden.
It does.
You aren't saying fix my mistakes. You are saying let's distribute the cognitive load of this task together.
It's a shared endeavor. It protects their ego and yours.
So what does this actually sound like in a real office? Let's do a mini role play really quick.
How fun. Okay.
I'll be the coworker needing help. Hey, do you have a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry to bother you, but I'm completely stuck on this new printer setup. It keeps giving me an error. Do you mind if I talk it through with you?
Sure, happy to help. Let me take a look.
Boom. Natural, easy, collaborative.
Exactly. Now, shift the dynamic to scenario 2, a stranger.
Okay, entirely different vibe.
This requires a completely different linguistic toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
When you approach a stranger on the street, you are breaking the social contract of public anonymity.
You are demanding attention from someone who owes you absolutely nothing.
Which means the apology portion of our formula has to be dialed up to the absolute maximum.
Right. You don't just ask for directions. You say, excuse me, I am so sorry to bother you, but...
You have to pay a linguistic toll for breaking their anonymity before you even get to the request.
The apology is the toll. I love that.
Then we move to scenario 3, an authority figure.
A boss, a professor, a manager.
Here, the power dynamic is overtly unequal. The language has to validate their higher status.
So collaboration language won't work.
No, it's too casual.
And stranger language is too distant.
Right. You shift into permission-seeking mode.
Like with a peer, I might say, can we talk through this data?
But with a boss, you say, would it be possible to get some feedback on this? Or would it be okay if we went over the meeting notes?
You are explicitly acknowledging that they control the flow of time and resources.
Exactly. Would it be possible that deferentially leaves the ultimate decision entirely in their hands? It reinforces the hierarchy.
Which brings us to the final and, frankly, I think the most fascinating dynamic in the sources. Scenario 4. A friend.
Ah, yes. This is where we encounter the concept of the big ask.
Okay, the big ask. Let's make sure that's clear.
The big ask is a request that requires a significant sacrifice of time, money, or physical effort.
Like moving a couch.
Or an airport run at 4 in the morning, borrowing a car.
Things that take real effort. Now, with a boss, we saw that the strategy is to ask for permission to intrude.
Right.
But with a close friend, the strategy is completely different. We literally build them a psychological escape hatch.
We do. We say things like, this is kind of a massive ask, and I totally get it if you can't, but...
It is such a brilliant contrast.
It is. Because with an authority figure, you are navigating their power over you. But a friendship is built on equality and voluntary mutual support.
Right. If a friend feels socially trapped into helping you, it breeds resentment.
And resentment is toxic to equality.
So by providing the escape hatch like no pressure at all, if you are busy, you ensure that if they do say yes, it is a fully voluntary act of friendship.
Not an act of social obligation, it protects the integrity of the relationship.
So we have spent this entire time outlining this highly complex rule book, right? Apologies, padding, context, escape hatches.
That's a lot.
But the research points out a massive exception to all of this. There is a scenario where you have to throw this entire playbook out the
You
window.
do. Sociolinguists call it the inverse rule of politeness.
The inverse rule.
Yeah. The rule dictates that the closer the relationship and the more urgent the context, the less padding is required. In fact, using softeners in these situations isn't just unnecessary, it's actively detrimental.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, if you are sitting on the couch with a friend you have known for 20 years, and you want the television remote.
I do not say. I was wondering if there's any chance you could possibly hand me the remote.
Exactly. If you say that to a best friend, they will assume you are being incredibly sarcastic.
Or that I'm angry with them.
Right. Because excessive politeness artificially creates social distance. It builds a formal wall where intimacy should exist.
That makes total sense.
Among very close ties, a direct, unfiltered, hey, toss me the remote, is the socially correct choice.
It signifies that the bond is strong enough to withstand directness without fracturing.
Yes, and urgency strips away the padding entirely, too.
Right. In a crisis, the social currency of time is completely irrelevant.
If someone is injured, you don't say, I am so sorry to bother you, but would you mind calling an ambulance?
You yell, call 911.
The severity of the situation overrides the social mandate to not impose. Directness is the only logical choice when stakes involve safety or extreme urgency.
The social padding is really a luxury of normal, low-stakes environments.
Exactly.
Okay, this shifts the lens completely for me. We've dissected how to formulate the ask, but what happens when the conversational ball is in the other court?
Being on the receiving end.
Right. How do we navigate being on the receiving end of these heavily padded requests? If someone comes to me with context, a softener, and an apology, how do I respond naturally without breaking the social harmony?
Well, accepting is pretty straightforward. You simply match the collaborative tone.
Like, of course, what do you need?
Or, happy to help, let me take a look. The real tightrope walk is the rejection.
Oh, for sure. Because just saying a flat no to a polite request feels incredibly aggressive.
It does. Even if you are genuinely too busy to help, a blunt no makes it sound like you are rejecting the relationship, not just the task.
So what do we do?
The same way we soften the request to avoid imposing, we have to soften the rejection to avoid insulting.
Oh.
The goal is to decline the favor while aggressively validating the relationship. You employ the soft not right now.
The soft not right now. Like, I'd love to, but I'm in the middle of something.
Or I would love to, but I am in the middle of this massive data poll. Can I come find you in 20 minutes?
That structure is bulletproof.
It is. I would love to affirms your willingness and protects their ego.
And I am in the middle of a data poll provides the context for your rejection.
Proving it isn't personal. And then, can I find you in 20 minutes? Offers an alternative solution.
Which maintains the collaborative spirit.
Exactly.
Or, my personal favorite, I am a bit slammed right now, but if it isn't urgent, let's tackle it after lunch.
Slammed is such a great word.
It is. It's such a visceral word for being overwhelmed with work. It immediately justifies the no without sounding angry.
A soft rejection performs the exact same sociological function as a soft request. Both parties are actively participating in a ritual designed to protect the other person's autonomy and feelings.
It is an intricate mutual dance of respect.
It really is.
Which brings us to the core of why all of this matters so much for our listeners.
Yeah, connecting it back to the bigger picture.
Whether you are navigating the unwritten rules of an English-speaking workplace, or traveling, or just making sure you don't alienate your friends when you need help moving a ridiculously heavy piece of furniture.
Right.
Mastering the architecture of the ask changes reality. It changes whether doors open for you or close in your face.
It determines whether people view you as a collaborator or a burden. The broken spreadsheet or the missing file is just the surface layer.
The actual exchange happening beneath the words is a negotiation of respect.
Exactly. Every time you deploy a softener, every time you offer context before making a demand, you are signaling to the other person that you value their time as much as your own.
You are proving that you're a safe person to interact with.
Which leaves us with a rather profound sociological question to consider from the sources.
Ooh, what is it?
We expend an incredible amount of mental energy and linguistic gymnastics trying desperately not to impose on one another.
We really do.
We pad our sentences, we apologize for existing in someone else's timeline, we build these elaborate psychological escape hatches.
So much effort.
Right. What does our absolute terror of being a burden reveal about the deeper values of our society?
Wow.
In a truly interdependent, community-focused culture, asking for help wouldn't be an imposition, it would simply be expected.
It would be the baseline of survival.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our obsession with independence is literally baked into our grammar.
That is an amazing thought to end on. So the next time someone approaches you for a favor, listen closely to the exact words they use.
Yeah, pay attention.
Look at the apologies, the past continuous tenses, the padding. Look at the architecture of their ask. What are they really trying to protect?
Good question.
And for everyone listening, what's a situation where you find it hard to ask for help in English? Drop it in the comments. We'll see you in the next deep dive.